Well, it's great to have your company and Merry Christmas, or as so many on the left would prefer me to say, Happy Holidays. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it though, does it? As a child, had to remind Jill Biden just the other day.
Hello, how are you? Hi, Happy Holidays. Hi.
Happy Christmas!
Happy Christmas, yes.
I love the look on Jill Biden's face at the end there. She really didn't like being tricked into saying Christmas by that little brat. Hey, little brats like that might just save the world. Right across the West, there's been a concerted effort to remove Christmas from Christmas. We're continually told it's about being inclusive. You know the spiel. Australia is a diverse country, and so we need to respect other people's customs by, disrespecting our own. I sometimes wonder why Islamists would even bother to try to destroy the West. We're destroying it ourselves while congratulating each other on how virtuous we are for doing it. What did Douglas Murray call it? The strange suicide of the West. But have you noticed this respect for diversity only ever flows one way? The same corporations that balk at proclaiming Christmas don't hesitate to acknowledge their Hindu celebration of Diwali, and I'm pretty sure they won't lose their heads rebranding Ramadan for local Muslims. It's just Christians they seem to have a problem with, and Christmas in particular. So I'm not buying this diversity argument. In fact, if you pay attention, you'll realise that diversity is nearly always a smokescreen for something else, and usually it's a grab for power. I found a hint of what I suspect to be the real issue people have with Christmas in this headline from The Guardian. It said, "Christmas comes with good cheer. The tragedy is the religious baggage." Yes, celebrating the birth of Jesus would be so much more enjoyable if people didn't keep going on about, Jesus' birth. The Guardian article was penned by the Vice President of the Humanist Society, which may have been a clue as to why she hated the Christmassy part of Christmas so much. Humanists don't have much room at the inn for the divine. The author wrote that she liked the star over Bethlehem, tinsel, was good. And she liked the wise men and the shepherds, all very cute. She especially liked the shout out to the refugees in the Christmas story. Of course, that's very progressive. But then she wrote this, and I quote, "The rest of the story I find loathsome. Why wear the symbol of a barbaric torture? Martyrdom is a repugnant virtue, so too the imposition of perpetual guilt." End quote. In other words, she loves the baby Jesus. She just loathes the saviour he grew up to be. And now we're getting closer to the real problem so many people have with Christmas. The religious baggage she claims ruins her Christmas is the suggestion that Jesus is God come in human form to die for the sins of the world. If only Jesus was, just a baby turning up to serve as a kind of a cutesy metaphor. I've got to admit, I kind of sympathise with her thoughts. That God came to die for sinners, of whom I am chief, is sort of hard to wrap one's, ego around. I think it would be far preferable for God to turn up and simply applaud my efforts while taking on board my expert advice on how he might improve some things around here. Trust me, I've got some suggestions. And don't look at me like that, I know you do too. And therein lies our problem, and a big hint as to why we may need a saviour after all. Pride makes fools of people. Just ask Jill Biden. Remember when she turned the White House into a woke Jaguar ad for Christmas? After watching that, I wasn't sure if they needed Christmas lunch or an exorcism. It was a ridiculous ode to nothing, which is pretty much what you're left with when you decide there's nothing beyond the here and now. Last December, a shopping centre in the Melbourne suburb of Werribee greeted shoppers with a sign that said, "Merry Everything." You don't get much more nihilist than merry everything and happy new whatever. That's pretty much what we've been busy turning the West into, though, isn't it? But I'm pleased to say the shoppers in Werribee weren't the cultural nihilists that centre management hoped they would be. Customers flooded social media with complaints forcing the centre's administrators to replace the Merry Everything signs with ones proclaiming Merry Christmas. Were they traditionalists, or were they people like you and I who, looking around at what we're doing with the world, thought maybe we could all do with a bit of saving? We need Christmas because it's the one time of year we all pause and think, maybe we're not the centre of the universe, and maybe we don't have all the answers, and maybe we should just occasionally even ask for help. That the next president of the United States, for all his flaws, and he has many, seems kind of inclined that way, might just mean 2025 could be an improvement on what's been a pretty rugged last 12 months. Let's hope so. And if you can bring yourself to it, maybe even pray so. Here's Donald Trump contemplating just that the other night.